one of the greatest Godzilla movies, and how one should be made, Shin Godzilla not only pays homage to the original Godzilla movies, but it also flows perfectly as one. This is one of those movies that holds a special place in my heart. I remember getting this during the COVID-19 pandemic and watching it for the first time. It was my favorite movie up until I watched 1917 in 2022 and then Godzilla Minus One in 2024. As years went by, Shin Godzilla to me became my former favorite movie of all time, and for great reasons. Here's a movie analysis on what makes Shin Godzilla a truly compelling movie in the series. Before we start this video, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe as well as hitting the bell icon to see more content. Thank you and enjoy. First and foremost, what Shin Godzilla delivered is fear. It brought the franchise back to its dark and horror routine, similar to the 1954 film. This ain't your rated PG-13 fun Godzilla flick. This actually feels terrifying to watch. They made the CGI on Godzilla move so slowly, with close-up shots showing his creepy face. It then quickly goes into a deeper tone that shows the presence of a monster that Japan is currently trying to deal with. This is how to bring the series back to its dark routine in a glorious way. What I also really love about this film is its darker approach in the series. It never becomes too cheesy at times, although I wish some of the human story was a little bit more hard-hitting, at least for me anyways. Either way, it feels very terrifying, as well as Godzilla slowly creeps up to the city. And there are some close-up shots showing his scaling and presence to his massive size and heavy movement. It also has a lot of blood dripping from Godzilla in some scenes, making it even more unsettling. Also, the scenes themselves are glorious, especially some of those Godzilla scenes. There's this really awesome scene where Godzilla fires his atomic beams and destroys a lot of the city surrounding him, and he starts firing from his tail, dorsal plates, and mouth. I also like how they gave Godzilla purple beams instead of his iconic atomic breath, as they look a lot flashier and give off them being that laser beam of death, making it a very deadly weapon that comes into contact with anything it touches. Another great point of this film, the music score is amazing. Okay, it does recycle some older movies' soundtracks, but at least it's nostalgic. It also has two very good songs, Persecution of the Masses and Who Will Know. Both songs show a great POV for the humans and Godzilla. The former being the humans in Japan and how their lives are greatly affected by a massive threat, and the later showing Godzilla's story and why he never wanted any of this. He just wanted peace, or he just wanted to have never existed. Shin Godzilla also has some pretty great special effects, despite only having a budget of $10 million. Even though the effects are incredible, they are still not as good as Godzilla Minus One, because some of these in the film, generally speaking of the explosions and weird looking Godzilla movements at times, look pretty uncanny and pretty choppy. Despite this, it's still a very photorealistic Godzilla film with some great visuals to match. The story is very amazing, having tragedy with both Godzilla and the humans. It's also great in two genres to make this. It's both a great monster movie and a great disaster film. There's clear parallels to the Fukushima nuclear disaster and the 2011 Tohoku tsunami. We see scenes of people evacuating their homes, staying in emergency shelters, and fighting to escape quickly. All in all, this film has a fantastic story of how Japan struggles to deal with a new monstrous threat. Lastly, it does a great job on actually giving viewers something new with Godzilla. Starting off, this movie shows Godzilla being more of a sympathetic monster. He didn't destroy as much of Tokyo as the other Godzillas. He felt like a lonely creature wandering off in confusion. He only rose in pain, and he only attacked when necessary. And talking about his different forms, Godzilla has new forms showing that he can evolve through certain evolutions, being second, third, and fourth form, with the ending showing us future of him. This is the film's unique take on Godzilla in an excellent way. It's too bad this movie never gotten a sequel. Overall, my final opinion on Shin Godzilla, it stands tall as one of my favorite Godzilla movies of all time. While other Godzilla movies can compete with it, depending on my own point of view, no other Godzilla movie can surpass it. Save Godzilla 1954 and Godzilla Minus One. In fact, Shin Godzilla currently sits as my third favorite Godzilla movie, and for many good reasons. I like me a solo Japanese Godzilla movie that does the character justice for the source material. I love how it manages to also be a unique take on the series, while still being a fairly original Godzilla movie. I definitely recommend this one to many newer Godzilla fans, or if you want to see something new for a change. Shin Godzilla is a fantastic masterpiece. What is your opinion on Shin Godzilla? Do you favor it over the other Godzilla movies? What was the best part in the film? And how does it truly respect the franchise? Let me know in the comments section below. And also, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And subscribe to my channel if you are new. And hit that bell icon to see more content on my channel. Thanks for watching. Stomping its way through the series and roaring above the competition, Shin Godzilla brings a satisfying change to the original storyline. For even an advanced Godzilla fan, it feels like watching something entirely new and original